Thank you for the introduction. So before I begin, I am very intrigued with the call, or should I say the tagline for the event today by CyberSec Asia. Shield your call. What is your call today? All right. If your call or your concerns is with regards to your organization's branding, with regards to tracking and monitoring of your potential vulnerabilities as well as health status, as well as benchmarking against your peers, then you're in the right session. Good morning and sawadee to you. So my name is Wilson. As what the MC has just introduced, I work for a company called ORYXLABS. We are a cyber product company, part of the Edge Group, a defense conglomerate based in Abu Dhabi. Now, before I commence, I just want to share very briefly the current cybersecurity landscape. All right. We are fully aware that in today's landscape, especially after the COVID, more and more advanced threats to organizations are arising. All right. I think this is a very realistic fact. Every day when you turn on or your news, when you look at a newspaper, you'll find that a lot of attacks are definitely arising, and they are getting more and more sophisticated, creating huge impacts to a lot of businesses, to a lot of organizations and operations. And like it or not, you find that a lot of the organizations today, they struggle to keep pace to protect and defend their assets. What are the assets here? It could be your software, it could be your hardware, your networks, your services and information. Why is this so? Why is this happening? All right, there are multiple reasons here. Probably it's also because of the fact that the organizations are not having a clear picture of what to protect. This is something that is very real. Either that or they are not monitoring in real time, all right, because of systems constraint, because of even some policies. But I think there are also other areas, like for example, they may even be unaware of the current exposure. Then of course, there is this continuous involvement of multiple APT groups and an increased frequency and breaches resulting in significant risks and impacts to your organization. Now, what are the impacts? All right. According to some statistics, it is expected that the global cybercrime will cost something like about 15% every year over the next 5 years, reaching to something like about probably 10.5, not billion, not million, but trillion US dollars annually. Right. There is a study according to IBM, the cost of data breach report back in 2022. The average time taken, all right, to identify a breach takes about 207 days, with 70 days to contain it. However, in 2023, last year, the average time has actually decreased to 204 days. Okay, but the organizations will require an average about 73 days to contain the identified breaches. This is alarming. Why is this so? All right, because of a few things. I think very importantly, there's an increase in phishing, an increase in ransomware attacks. I think my previous speaker has mentioned to you about, your email phishing, for example. So something that all of us need to be very, concerned of. And of course, what is also of paramount importance is that, all these attacks are out there to exploit the weakest link of the organization. What is the weakest link here? Like it or not, it's you, me, or the employees, all right? And of course, the attacks are getting more and more sophisticated, like I've mentioned. They are using highly intelligent bots, AI, and so on and so forth. Now, it is very, very imperative for top management and securities like yourself to have a complete understanding, all right, of your current state of cybersecurity readiness. As I have mentioned, this is a fast-moving environment leaders like yourself need to start managing your cybersecurity posture in a very continuous manner. The next couple of slides are what I will call the key slides for today. And if you have forgotten about anything that I've just said, never mind. But just take note of the next two slides like I've mentioned. So what is the current approach or the traditional way of evaluating cyber posture of an organization? I don't want to be too critical here, but most of the times, whatever you see on this chart has been proven to be ineffective, all right? Especially when there is a rapid increase in cyber threats almost every other day. We see security teams struggling to define priorities, to solve the issues, to do remediations. And traditionally, they will be looking at the number of vulnerabilities identified, organized by all these impacts of the risk. What should we be doing actually? All right. So what ORYXLABS has in our system, our platform, is that we always encourage to look into the exploitability based on EPSS, otherwise known as Exploit Prediction Scoring System, which is a better way of doing prioritization of your vulnerabilities remediation efforts. So what are some of the challenges that we are facing today? The first thing is frequency. As I've mentioned, there is highly complex modern IT landscape today, and all this are beyond the capability of your enterprise IT teams, all right? And research actually shows that 69% of your organization are experiencing all these attacks in an unknown, unmanaged, or poorly managed way. And because of this, you will realize that there are a lot of what we call shadow IT assets today. So as a result, there will be discovery of new vulnerabilities once a while. It could be a month, it could be a quarter, very inconsistent. Vulnerability evaluation. Different organizations will be looking at vulnerabilities differently. Some of them will be looking at the number. It's, let's say, for example, given a number of, say, 10,000, 100,000 vulnerabilities, how do you give priority to such a number? And that's the reason why in our platform, all right, we rely on what we call CVSS. Now, CVSS is it's not only a measure of risk, but the quantitative measure of severity. So this is something that we want to encourage all security practitioners to take note of. Misconfigurations, all right? And this is something a lot of security practitioners also tend to overlook. There are potential breach accounts that are not being considered as potential risks to the overall cyber posture for some reasons. And it is very important for us to identify such breach accounts. Potential phishing, something which the previous speaker has already mentioned. But what I want to highlight today is that phishing also give rise to impersonation of real domains, all right? And this is where it will affect the cyber posture of your organization. As I've mentioned earlier on, this also will have great impacts to your branding. So what is really required here as a fundamental cyber hygiene or best practice to increase the cyber posture of your organization? And why is cyber hygiene important? All right. So the first thing I want to address here is on holistic assessment. What is holistic assessment? We find that the organization and the attack surface is huge and complex, right? More than what you and I can imagine. And we need to, evaluate this cyber posture and all the assets as a whole, rather than in isolation, so that we can identify the threats. there must also be continuous monitoring. A lot of times, organizations will only be doing tracking and monitoring on an ad hoc basis. What is important here is that it has to be 24/7, all right? You need to ensure that everything is monitored in real time. You need to focus on trends, all right? Not just, like I said, on an ad hoc basis, but making sure that there are, a common pattern. Of course, focusing on benchmarking, as well as actionable insights. Only with this, you'll be able to focus on the cyber posture of your organization. Now, I just want to briefly touch on the platform that we have to help our customers to identify or to have a better cyber posture here. All right. Without going into the details of the product, so what this product does is that it addresses 3 basic groups, as you can see over here. All right. It could be the C-level, the security leaders, as well as the engineers. But what I want to highlight today is that this platform, all right, will help you to monitor your users, your assets, your branding for weaknesses in a continuous fashion. This platform comprises not just 1 module, 2 modules, 3 modules, but a total of 4 modules, all consolidated to give you the best of breed features, comprising the exact attack surface management, cybersecurity scoring, which is very important because that determines your cyber posture, as well as the digital risk protection services, all right, which is going to take care of your branding. And of course, what is more important here is that it helps you to rapidly contextualize information about your assets, about your security gaps, as well as remediation issues. Now, don't take my words for it. I think what is important is we want to invite you, all right, to our booth later on. We are at A01, and my colleagues over there will be doing a demo for you. The next few slides is to show you a couple of screenshots of how the platform looks like, all right? So as you can see, there are some scores over there. It could be a score of 50%, it could be a score of 42%, or even 78%, for example. What does all these statistics tell you? All these numbers tell you, right? If you're having a score of 78, naturally you are kind of safe, but don't be too complacent because anything can happen anytime, right? If you're having a score of 50, well, probably it's time for you to take some remediation efforts. On this slide itself, you'll be able to see what we call the attack surface map, all right? It will point to you where your potential vulnerabilities are, what you should be doing. Now, I just want to share very briefly on a case study. This is a big international cyber insurance provider based out of US. They came to ORYXLABS a few years ago. So they had a few pain points here, as you can see on the list here. One of them is that they have been providing enhanced insurance coverage for premium clients. We're not talking about people like you and I, but the premium clients. And this company, they need a better and faster understanding of the cyber risk. Otherwise, there will be competition that is going to catch up with them. More importantly, they needed a holistic view, all right, of the cyber posture. Again, in US, as you know, probably, there are a lot of compliances they need to follow. So some of the problems that they've encountered here are, number one, they have been using a lot of traditional tools, all right, and methods which are not interconnected. They were costly, they were labor intensive, there was no continuous risk assessment, no trending, no benchmarking. And when they came to us, we were able to help them to reduce time and effort and measure their security posture in a very effective way. There's also an in-depth understanding of the security maturity, right? More importantly, they were able to remediate the issues, thereby reducing risk and the cost of insurance policy. Right. Just a very high-level overview of who we are. Like I've mentioned, we are a company based out of Abu Dhabi. All right. There are two flagship products that we carry. Discovery is one, DNS Firewall is the other, which provides you with added protection on your DNS. I'm not going to go through all these pointers here, but before I end the session, I just want to share a short video clip. Just sit back and enjoy. Can I have the audio, please? I'm sorry, let me just rewind that.
Right. We have to connect it with the audio line.
All right, thank you.
Here we go.
Thank you so much.
Enterprises today must manage an environment with evolving cyber threats that are targeting ever-expanding attack surfaces. This is driven by multiple business and operational imperatives to adopt digitalization, automation, and connectivity. Addressing these threats requires an innovative and creative approach to cybersecurity risk mitigation. ORYXLABS, an Abu Dhabi-based cybersecurity engineering company, has answered this call. We provide award-winning best-in-class situational awareness and external attack surface management solutions for governments, enterprises, security entities, and critical infrastructure. Innovative and agile, our experts leverage their extensive real-world experience in sectors from global tech to national defense. Launched in 2020, we have moved quickly, gaining a reputation for advanced cybersecurity engineering solutions. As an agile and innovative company focused on cybersecurity, we pride ourselves on tailoring our solutions to meet specific client needs. One-size-fits-all products are no match for today's threats. Our products empower customers to continuously detect, monitor, and enhance their enterprise security environments, while also mitigating ongoing or future attacks. Using deep learning, AI, vulnerability research, and big data, we've created powerful solutions in 4 key areas: cybersecurity assessment, monitoring, prevention, and improvement. To protect and safely embrace digitalization and 24/7 connectivity, to support business continuity and IT security, choose advanced cybersecurity solutions at scale.
All right, so this is who we are. We are definitely, here to help the local government, the enterprises, to look at your cyber posture. More importantly, to help you to, ensuring that you are safe and secure.